All right. Today we're speaking with Roanne Whitticase. She's the regional director from the Farm to School BC program. The original pilot program started in 2011, with the first hub being launched in, I believe, 2014. Roanne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about what the results are from this organization collaborating with the three different districts?
Yeah, I can expand on that. So the program actually started in 2007 in Quesnel, BC, actually, was the pilot. And it's since expanded. It had the first three hubs in 2014. And then it expanded in 2018 to have three more hubs, which we call them, which are, school district regions. And in 2018, they also expanded to Surrey, the Northwest, which is like Prince Rupert and that area there in Terrace. And then also Nanaimo North was one. And then just last year in 2021, they included the hub that I am the community animator for, which is our term for kind of the regional coordinator here in North Central, which is includes like Prince George to Valemont and over to Nechako Lakes area, as well as down to Quesnel, Wells, and Nasco. And then there's also a regional hub right now, pilot in Sunshine Coast.
Awesome. So I have heard the expression farm to table. So can you build on what farm to school is and let our audience know what it's all about?
Yeah, so farm to school is the great thing is that it's like a concept and a kind of a program and projects that are international. There's a lot of farm to school activity all over the world, which is great. And essentially it's supporting food literacy enhancement in schools. So supporting getting curriculum integration around food literacy, as well as supporting projects and programs. So that could be, because food literacy is so broad, like that can be anything from getting a school garden going at your school or indoor grow towers or growing indoors going, all the way to cooking and food processing and meal programs to students, like planting the seed to helping things grow to helping with the cooking stages. And also just exploring nature, like foraging, like Indigenous gardens as well, like everything that can connect students to the all the exciting realities that come along with food and how it's grown and how you can celebrate eating it in different ways.
Has it been an easy process to connect and work with the different school districts for this program?
Yeah, so every school district is a little different, right? It depends like where they're at within their own capacity. Maybe they have existing gardens, maybe not. And then, it's also the capacity of educators and also like the PACs, like the parents that are involved can be a really good support network. So every district and every school is different as to what they want to do, what they can do. But it's really great that there's definitely a lot of momentum behind educators, parents, students wanting to participate in this. We have a couple school farms that Farm School has been a part of helping to establish, which is really great. It's the actual farms that are producing, and it's great to have them connected into the schools to be able to get that food that's being grown there into the school, but also for the hands-on learning opportunities for students. So if it's planting flowers as a pollinator garden or planting seeds for them to seed, for students to see that whole growth cycle of plants all the way to actually producing food that ends up in the school cafeteria. It can be any level of where the school wants to participate. So
All right, so you also mentioned Indigenous foods being part of the teachings. Can you expand a little bit on that, on the teachings that the students are learning, and is it for both non and Indigenous students?
yeah, it's definitely for all students, and in that as well, our like support as Farm to School School BC and as community animators is really to work to empower and support like Indigenous educators and the programs that the district or the schools may want to get going. So we're here to help. That could be all the way from helping to get a program going to helping to find funding that can support getting the program going. We did a Learning from the Land toolkit that we have on our website that was done with a program that ran for a while that was with 3 different schools, and it's highlighting their development of their projects, and they all did it in different ways. And it's all like a guide as to how you can engage in developing like a school garden and connecting with Indigenous communities. So it's available for all students, and it's also just really is depends on what the schools and the communities really want to happen there. So that can go from supporting foraging experiences to developing Indigenous gardens on the school to connecting the Indigenous teachings into food literacy curriculums and programs and projects they may want to be doing at the school. Also we support school to community connections. So maybe just helping schools connect to those Indigenous communities and the knowledge keepers that may be around in their community. So again, it's just really customizable to what the community and schools want.
So is it a school initiative, or is it part of the provincial educational curriculum?
Yeah, so like our support and like resources we may develop with and for schools, like it could be aligned with provincial curriculums. It could also be at the individual school level. Like I know in the district, one of the districts I support, they have a program where they take students out to different locations to experience teachings with Indigenous elders. So in that role, for example, it was supporting through connecting funding to make them to be able to, for the transport to be a part of those experiences. So it can vary depending on the level of engagement that there is.
So since the launch of the programs, has there been any noticeable differences in the schools and the communities where the Farm to School program runs?
Yeah, I can't speak intimately to all the other regions, but I think so. Like having someone like myself on the ground that can support with whatever the district and schools may need. Like it could just be that extension of time, or we have the capacity to set up workshops and Pro-D days for educators and connecting curriculums. And our program also does our own resource development and curating like lists and things that can help educators connect them to this, that, and the other thing. And like I said, we can help build relationships. We also have our own funding through Farm to School BC that runs every year that just wrapped up. So with the funding, the animator also supports those schools in ensuring that their projects and programs are successful. So there's a lot of ways that the community, and we also really work to connect with other existing organizations to work together for the objective of supporting food literacy at schools.
So why was this program implemented, and why did you personally want to be a part of it?
Again, I can't specifically speak to those initial reasonings why. I can in a broad sense with that especially for the pilot project, it started as a salad bar program. It was just, and there's a lot of passion and desire from educators and students themselves and parents to really want to have this integration within teachings around food literacy and connecting students to food. The more connected students typically are to their food and access there to those teachings and learnings, it can really help with the relationships around food and hands-on learning. There's a lot of really positive impacts that can bring. So I think the will and the want comes from a lot of different areas and elements. And the exciting thing about getting food more integrated into teachings and learning is that there's opportunities everywhere, from art to science to math to outdoor classrooms. And there's a lot of momentum and movement there. And for myself, I really want to be part of this because I think that connecting students to food and food literacy and having those experiences from learning more about where food comes from to actually experiencing growing food and all those other elements. Like, I wish I had that in school. I think it's great. Yeah. And then the connections to the land and to Indigenous teachings is just so valuable. And I myself am also a local food producer and farmer here. And I just think connecting food to health and relationship and community is just a very valuable thing.
Yeah. For those that might not know, is food literacy a new word that's coming about, and what does it mean?
Yeah. Food literacy in the broad sense just speaks to knowledge on food, like having that exposure and learning about food in all the different ways. So this is a really broad term, but it essentially just means like having that knowledge around food, because I feel like generations past, it was just more a part of the everyday life, right? To like be growing food, to be harvesting foods, to be cooking and preparing and experiencing different things within that, which for many of us, myself included, it just wasn't a part of our lives growing up. And often even to like as an adult, you might not experience. So it's kind of also, exposing students to that knowledge of like, where does food come from? How does it grow? Which is just that overall, food literacy concept.
All right. Now, moving forward into the 2023, what are the plans for the program moving forward?
Yeah, so for the program overall, like the Farm to School BC, definitely like there's a lot of opportunities. Like the Farm to School BC would love to be able to support every school district throughout BC, which is an ultimate goal. And within that, of course, like I said, state remaining adaptive to be able to support communities where they're at and where their needs really are. Working to connect more, of course, and continue always to develop relationships with Indigenous nations within these communities and supporting the connection to, like the Indigenous knowledge around food and foraging and whatever that looks as well, in whatever ways that we can be supportive there. And one of those is with our learning circle that we're running right now, which is between myself and my Northwest counterpart. So we're kind of the farthest north hubs here within our support. And we're running this learning circle, which is going to be a 4-part series. And that is to provide like a free access and opportunity for educators and community members to connect into that knowledge being shared by Indigenous knowledge keepers.
If people wanted to learn more information or encourage this program coming into their school district, how can they do so?
Yeah, thanks. So within your region as well, there's a counterpart of mine there that supports School District 73 and 83 of Kamloops and the Okanagan Shuswap. But by going to our website, there is a list of our hubs, and all the hubs that we have. We don't have one in support all the school districts of BC yet, but there's a list there, and then it lists all the community animators. So you can connect directly to the community animators within your hub. And if there isn't a community animator within where you're at, then you can contact directly to more of the provincial level just to have conversations there. But a lot of our offerings, like our school, it's open to anyone in the province. Like all of the things that we run at the provincial level are. So if you visit our website, which is farmtoschoolbc.ca, then there's a lot of information there. And there's also a lot of resources and links, like our Learning from the Land toolkit is accessible to download that you can take, and a lot of curriculum connections, lesson plans, and resources that can help you get started.
Yeah. How can parents support their children with food literacy?
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, I mean, especially if a parent is really knowledgeable in themselves, then of course just the experiences of engaging there. But if not, then I would say connecting to existing organizations that may already be doing a lot of this different work in terms of teachings. And even on our website, we also have like a resource list and database where there's a lot of different resources that exist out there that and lessons that you could engage with at home, or like with a group of other parents. And then if you're really interested in having like farm to school type activities going on at your school, then also just connecting and advocating, whether that's you're in the pack or with your pack and at the school. To a lot of projects that actually do start at schools come from like really passionate parents that want these things to happen. So they're a part of creating the project design and being a part of supporting it. So that's another way there. But yeah, there's a lot of resources and opportunities out there.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure learning more about Farm to School BC program. Thank you so much, Roanne, for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if anyone's interested in the Indigenous Learning Circle we're running, that will also be, you can find that information on the website. The first one we're having tomorrow, which is completely full, which is exciting. But we're going to have 3 more throughout the next 3 months after this. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.